I used to start things I couldn't finish. Not because I wasn't capable, but because I was moving faster than I was ready to carry. And the day I finally stopped running is the day Ezykane was born. If you've ever had a vision so clear, you could literally see it, but every time you tried to build it, something stopped you. If you've ever sat alone at midnight and asked yourself, why do I keep starting and not finishing? Why can't I sustain what I start? Am I just not disciplined enough? This story is for you, because what I learned, what broke me open and then put me back together is this. The problem was never the vision. It was the timing, the discernment, the structure, and the fact that I was trying to do it all by myself. This is the story of how I stopped being a starter and became a builder, and how that shift became the foundation of everything Ezykane stands for. Before Ezykane, I had a hobby. I helped friends build their brands, create their visual identities, plan their photo shoots. Sometimes I got paid, sometimes I didn't. I loved it, but I didn't see it as mine, not long-term anyways. I had a full-time job as a general manager at one of Nigeria's biggest interior design firms, and I was good at it. I was happy there, but there was this pull. So one afternoon, I finished a branding photo shoot for my friend, Ayanda Carter, and we were going over the images with the photographer and the videographer, and I heard it. A voice, quiet, clear. This is the transformation you were born to make in people's lives. I literally turned around, thinking someone was standing behind me, but there was no one there. I thought I was hearing things. Later that day, Ayanda and I sat down, and she said something I will never forget. Ezykane, you could do this in your sleep. I've worked with people who charge thousands of pounds for this, and I've never had this level of clarity or results. She started showing me examples, other people doing similar work, being paid well for it, and I sat there stunned because deep down I knew she was right, but I also knew I wasn't ready. I had heard the voice, I had received the confirmation, but I was terrified because this wasn't my first time starting something. It was like my 100th. What no one tells you about being visionary is that you're really good at receiving. You see the what, you feel the why, and you run. But what I kept missing was the when and the where. I would get a vision and I would immediately start building. Zero systems, zero structure, no real preparation, just vision and vibes. And every single time, I'll end up at the same spot, burnt out, or lost momentum, or just realized that I had started something I wasn't equipped to sustain. And after years of launching and abandoning idea after idea, I had to sit down with God and ask Him, God, what is wrong with me? Now, before I tell you what changed for me, I want to show you something. Because this pattern, the gap between vision and structure, it doesn't care how famous you are. Think about Oprah in the early days of her career. She had the vision, she had the gift, people felt it immediately, but before she owned her production company, before she owned her image, her show, her brand, she was being managed, shaped, and redirected by other people's vision for her. The moment everything changed for her was when Oprah stopped trying to be a version of what television expected, and she started being apologetically herself. That's not a personality story, that's an alignment story. Her internal clarity finally matched her external presence, and the result was the most powerful media brand of the last 40 years. Or let's look at Apple in 1997. Steve Jobs returns to a company that has lost its identity. Apple had like 300 plus products, no focus, no coherent story, no clear positioning. Jobs didn't just fix the products, he realigned everything: the message, the visual identity, the customer experience. Think different wasn't a tagline, it was a realignment manifesto. And within 2 years, Apple went from near bankruptcy to profitability. Not because they built more things, but because they finally built in alignment. Now, you don't need a 500 billion company to understand this principle. You just need to recognize the same gap in your own business. Vision without alignment is a burden, but vision with alignment is legacy in motion. I remember the night clearly. It was quiet, everyone else was asleep. And I was sitting there, notebook open, pages filled with names and ideas I started and stopped. I wasn't asking for another idea that night. I was just asking God for permission to stop running. So I prayed, not that prayer when you're asking for blessings, the kind that asks for truth. And that is when it hit me. 4 things, clear as day. 1, the issue wasn't the receiving vision. It was discerning the timing. I was so used to receiving and running that I never waited for clear direction on when to move. Number 2, I wasn't distinguishing between other people's voices and God's voice. People will see what God was building in me and they'll point it out and it will be true, but without being grounded in divine timing, I kept stepping into seasons that didn't exist yet. The third thing was I had no systems. It was just vision and vibes, and those two don't build businesses. Structure is what builds a business. I was setting myself up to fail from day one. And the fourth one was fear. Fear of failure, fear of disappointment. I only wanted to do things with excellence. So if I wasn't fully clear, I was afraid to fully invest. And that night I realized I wasn't failing because I wasn't capable. I was failing because I was building alone. In 2021, I came up with the name Ezykane. It was my way of declaring I can. I'm the woman for the work and I'm ready. But I wasn't, not yet. Because shortly after, I got pregnant. And this pregnancy, it was everything. It was a rainbow baby because I had lost one before. And this time I just wanted to pause and protect it, to not risk anything. So I held on to the name, but I didn't move. 2 years passed, I relocated to Canada. I had my first child, then my second. And when my second baby was about 3 months old, I heard it again. It's time. And this time, I didn't just hear it, my husband confirmed it too. So we went to register the business. By then I had refined the name to Ezykane. Easy from Ezykane, my name. Can with a K, an O to my middle name, Kanu. And Ed, an O to my marital surname, Edewa. But something unexpected happened. When I gave the name to the registrar, she didn't add the D. And when I saw it, Ezykane, I was like, yes, that's it. Because that mistake became the entire philosophy. We don't redesign you, we realign you. Ezykane isn't about creating a new version of you. It's about bringing who you already are into full alignment. Your internal clarity, your external presence, your confidence, your systems. And when all of that moves as one, that's when transformation truly happens. And every time I see our logo, it reminds me that you're the woman for the work. But starting Ezykane cost me something. I had another brand, the Jack brand, luxury homeware for women. Fashion was my first love. And as a child, people assumed I would be a model. And as a teenager, I told my parents I was going to be a designer. The Jack brand let me express that side of me. and it was growing. But I knew that splitting my time would hinder both. So I made the decision to close it. And it broke my heart. I had to let go of the joy, the smiles, the clients who wanted more. I always say it's not over until it's over. There's a chapter for the Jack brand in my future. Just not now. And even after closing it, even after hearing the Holy Spirit twice, even after my husband confirmed it, I was still afraid. I was afraid of putting myself out there. I was afraid of stepping out after such a dramatic life shift. Motherhood, relocating, starting over. And I was afraid of failing again. But I pushed through because I wanted my children to see me push for my dreams. I wanted them to know you're creators. You can build what you set your heart to do. So what is Ezykane really? We're not a branding agency. We are an alignment firm. Most of the people I work with are already capable, talented, already experienced. What's broken isn't their skill, it's the signal. Their presence doesn't match their level, and it's costing them trust, access, opportunities that they should have already earned. What I do is close that gap. I help people move from being overlooked, underestimated, misunderstood, to being recognized before they even speak. Yes, we work on your wardrobe, your visuals, your messaging, but those are just tools. The real work is identity level. When clients come to me, they're stuck in a quiet loop. You know, I know I'm good, but I don't feel fully seen, or I keep having to prove myself. I don't like where I'm going yet. And after working with me, that loop breaks. They stop trying to look confident and start moving from certainty. They stop over-explaining, they stop shrinking, they stop auditioning for respect. Their presence becomes intentional, calm, and unmistakable. Let me show you what aligned presence actually looks like when it works. When Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty in 2017, every major beauty brand already existed. NARS, MAC, Charlotte Tilbury. The market was saturated, but Rihanna didn't launch a product. She launched an alignment statement. 40 foundation shades at launch. Her personal values were radical inclusion, and it became her brand architecture. Her external presence matched her internal conviction. And in its first 40 days, Fenty Beauty earned $100 million in sales. Not because she had better formulas than everyone else, but because her alignment was undeniable. When your presence matches your values at that level, the market responds. Or look at Brené Brown. She was a research professor. That's how she identified herself for years. But the gap between her identity and her presence was quietly costing her authority. Then came the 2010 TEDx Houston talk. She didn't just talk about vulnerability, she embodied it on stage. Her presence, unguarded, direct, warm but precise, finally matched the depth of her research. That talk has now been viewed over 60 million times. Not because the research changed, but because the signal finally matched the substance. The research didn't make Brené Brown famous. Her alignment did. And that's what I build for my clients. There's a difference between having authority and projecting it. Let me show you the gap. When Michelle Obama became the First Lady, every choice she made, the designers she wore, the way she spoke, how she moved through rooms, was a strategic statement. She wore American designers to signal economic support. She wore bright, bold colors to be unmissable in the crowd. She wore her hair naturally on certain occasions to send a specific cultural signal. None of that was accidental. It was alignment at the highest level of public life. Her image wasn't some form of decoration. She was communicating, and this is why her authority transcends the role today. When Satya Nadella became CEO of Microsoft in 2014, the company was perceived as bureaucratic, past its prime, losing to Apple and Google. Nadella didn't just change the products, he changed the story. He shifted Microsoft's identity from Windows company to cloud-first, mobile-first intelligence company. He also changed how he showed up, his communication style, his accessibility, his emphasis on empathy and growth mindset. In the decade that followed, Microsoft's market cap grew from 300 billion to over 3 trillion. That's not just a business turnaround. That's what alignment-led leadership looks like at scale. Now, you're not running Microsoft, but the principle is identical. When your image, your message, and your identity move as one, authority becomes obvious. You stop fighting to be seen, you start being recognized. And here's why this matters, especially for established professionals. You've already earned your authority, but if your image doesn't reflect it, you're fighting an uphill battle every single time. I've worked with over 200 founders, executives, leaders who had this exact issue. The pattern is always the same. Once they align their image with their expertise, conversion rates go up, price resistance drops, opportunities come faster. One client came to me charging $500 per project. 90 days after we realigned her presence, her wardrobe, her visuals, her messaging, her positioning, she was charging $3,500. It was the same expertise and the same offer, but just different signals. You might be wondering what changed. She stopped creating what psychologists call approach avoidance conflict. Her messaging said premium, but her image said accessible to everyone. And those two signals cancel each other out. So once she realigned, tailored wardrobe, strategic color palette, cohesive visuals, the resistance disappeared. Because when presence is aligned, authority becomes obvious. You don't have to convince people of your value. They already sense it before you speak. If you're tired of starting and stopping, if you're tired of guessing, if you're tired of doing this alone, this is where you stop. Working with Ezykane means you're not handed a template. You're taken through a 360-degree alignments process. Identity, confidence, strategy, and execution until your brand actually fits your life and who you are. I used to start things I couldn't finish. Not because I wasn't capable, but because I was moving faster than I was ready to carry. And the day I stopped running was the day I became a builder. And that's what Ezykane does for you. We help you stop performing, stop guessing, stop doing it all alone. Because vision without alignment is a burden, but vision with structure is where you find legacy. If you're ready to be easy aligned, start with the brand persona quiz. It's free and it takes less than 5 minutes, and it'll show you exactly what your brand presence is communicating right now and where the gap is. The link is in the description.